Hey guys, it's Evan. Welcome to my vlog. Usually I give the timestamp, but I don't care. I've never cared. You want to know what time it is? Look at your laptop computer and look at your technological device. It's 2026. Get with it or get lost. Anyways, I am behind on life like usual, but I'm catching up and I'm realizing that it took people 5 years to figure shit out. Oh, excuse me, don't excuse me. And it takes me 5 seconds. So now I realize why I am in the situation that I am. But I do things gradually now. Like I play fair. I can't win every single situation or circumstance. And I think having come out of a highly competitive environment where everything's super highly competitive, innovative, I have so much trauma from that. I have a lot of trauma from like having to forgive myself for things I didn't even know I was a part of. Like I thought I was just a part of working for this company, not realizing, I wouldn't say not realizing what that entails, but no one should have to realize that the underlying operations are criminal and not good, and discovering those things and having been gaslit and told that I have psychological problems because I'm speaking facts and truth about what I saw, what I observed in the use of these vehicles and things of that nature and how people treated me. I remember calling security on April. I could care less about their privacy, they care less about mine, they already violated it. But I remember reporting, like, she could have really hurt me or harmed me in the workplace. She already had done that. She had slammed a red Tesla Model Y car door. It was the rear passenger door in my, well, I was, it was, I was behind the rear passenger door and the right passenger door, all the doors, well, not all the doors, I think the doors can't, usually I would, that was what happened. We would have the doors open because we were detailing them in preparation for sales and delivery. And I had both doors open on the right side passenger. And she comes up to me and just, I don't even call these microaggressions anymore. Like, these people were hostile and aggressive and behaved violently towards me. And so she comes up to me and just goes in on me with all these words. And I remember doing everything to de escalate the situation. And mind you, I was like, I remember having my knee up on the rear seat, kind of like figure four, I guess, and my right foot planted down, and the shop vac in my hand. I was vacuuming the under seat and the carpet. And she comes up to me very hostile, and I just did everything to de-escalate the situation, and I was just very respectful, and I said something along the lines of like, April, we've had these conversations before, and if this is how you feel, then maybe, you should seek out talking about this with someone that you feel comfortable speaking about this with in the workplace, because these conversations, like these interactions, something along the lines, I didn't want to say we were getting nowhere, but I said, I, I just said, I'm doing what I'm told. I was doing what she had told me to do. I did what Kenny told me to do, what I was told to do. And so she got angry, went over to the open rear passenger door, And as my head and my face were like in the seam of like, so then there's the pillar and the camera, and those two seams open now, almost like butterfly, I guess. And my face was right here, and she slams the door, and my face was right there. And mind you, I had my bump cap on. I was the only one who had my bump cap on. I had my bump cap on, my safety, everything on, my PPE. And I went up, I just, she was just super violent and aggressive. And I remember saying, like, the bay was open, and there was a door, like, to go in and out of. And I remember, like, reporting and saying, like, she didn't have to do all that. Like, she didn't have to cause such a scene and be so angry and violent towards me. Like, there was no need for that. And the way she exited, I remember saying something about the door because, like, there was no reason to make such a big issue and go through those doors, like, when there's a shop door there for her to exit, like a normal person would. And, but because she was so angry and petty, she caused a scene. So after she caused a scene, I just waited a minute for her to go away, and I turned off the shop vac. I went over to Kenny and Roman Ziegler, whatever his name was, and I said, "Hey, like, she just slammed the car door in my face." And they were like, "That's just how she is. She does those things all the time. Just let it be." And just, dude, Kenny said, "Just do what I told you to do." I said, "That's what I was doing." And now that I think about it, that's what I told April. I said, "I'm just doing what Kenny told me to do." And so what started all of this was when I first started working there. I saw a lot of things, but I was like, hey, I don't want to be that guy that shows up and just like sounds the alarm right away. So I don't want to be that guy, I guess. And then I badged in, and I started to realize nobody in the facility was badging in. They were all going through the garage door bay. And I was like, okay, well, there goes millions of dollars in Teslas down the drain. So then I was sitting there for a while. Everyone showed up late on my first day of work. And then I realized people are mishandling the key cards. And I don't want to sound like I'm complaining about every single little thing, but these things made me feel unsafe. I mean, they would leave key cards in the cars overnight, so anybody could have easily just opened the Tesla door and just gotten in the Tesla with the key and just taken off. It was unreal. And so then I was shown how they operate, what they do, that the vehicles were transported from Giga Texas, which at the time when I had left Austin, it was during the delivery of the Model Ys and the grand opening to the public. When I was doing my internship, we helped with the grand opening, and working at the factory before the grand opening to the public, I saw it in its initial bare bones state. Like, the mailroom wasn't even open. So I just got to see it all and live it all and die from it all and come back from it all. Then they were just being very disgusting. Their behavior was awful towards me. They asked me my age. They asked me my race, and they would just do these circles and talk nothing but trash about me. Like, there was one time where there was a meeting held, and in that meeting, all just about me, and I was just there. And considering all the awful things that they said about me in that meeting, and the fact that they did this just to talk bad about me, I don't feel any regrets towards how I handled it. I think I handled it professionally, and I think that I wasn't passive aggressive in any way. I think the reality is that I I may have plucked a very tough spot that they didn't think anybody could ever reach and take down, but I did. Or like Mr. Forrest would say, I shook the right branch and all the bad fruit came down. I told them at the end of everything that they were more worried, more preoccupied about counting Red Bulls than counting how many vehicles were coming out of the lot. And they got so angry because I told them the truth. They were so preoccupied with buying drinks, filling the fridge, and drinking, and who drank what, and when they drank what, how many Red Bulls were in the fridge, instead of why there were over maybe nearly like 100 Teslas on the lot that most of them couldn't sell, wouldn't sell, and were just staying on the lot. A lot of them that were being pushed in had so many issues, it was just unreal. And they couldn't keep count of how many came in, and they didn't want to, they were lazy. So that kind of pissed everyone off, and I don't care. Like, at that point, I had sacrificed my life, my time, I earned my career, and not only did I sacrifice, but my support system and my family and my spouse and her family sacrificed so that I could be this internal corporate hire, and so many people before that. Judd and Linda set me up for success, and I see now that I'm way more than that place and than that company, and I hope to hold them accountable in a way that, like I just read 6 hours ago, allegedly they're making Teslas more accessible, and Teslas are not wheelchair accessible. I try to transfer into a Tesla, and it's harder for me to transfer into a Tesla than any old junky car. I've transferred into a Tundra recently, and that's a step up, and I was able to get myself up in that better than I was able to get through from a wheelchair into the Tesla. So I think that with these modern designs that Tesla has, they really are sustainable in the design, but a lot of modern technology, or I should say, a lot of, like for instance, my wheelchair, although it is a power chair and it is modern as it gets, or even my custom chair, the those are all designs that come from schematic blueprints that are universal and have been super blocky for the longest. And putting that block inside that, or in that wedge of like the Tesla when the door opens, is hard. Like, this is a super advanced design, and it's more designed for able-bodied people and not wheelchair users. And I just hope to hold them accountable in the sense that, one, yes, this never happens to me ever again, but two, that they take countermeasures and at least say, hey, we don't have it all figured out with accessibility, but we're far ahead of the game than any other company when it comes to accessibility. Hey, we don't have it all figured out when it comes to discrimination, but we are in advance. And the reality is that I would rather admit the truth that Tesla is advanced in every way of real life and federal systems and oversights than the government itself. And that's the reality. And whether people want to accept that or not, that's fine. They're entitled to that. That's their belief. I've spoken with people at OSHA that they swear they've investigated everything, Department of Labor, all these people. And I mean, I know the truth. I know the reality. And I know that they can go and walk through Gigafactory right now and say that they have been there real time in this moment they know more than me, and I know that that's false. They don't. Like I said, I was there when it was bare bones. I remember, I don't even know, I lost it, and it meant a lot to me. Who knows where it went now? But I remember having just this. It was just this nut, and it meant the world to me. And like I was actually here. Like this is. I was here. My hands in the dirt. I mean, being a part of building this whole factory and seeing it all come together. Granted, it was kind of a cop of Buffalo factory, but still, this was just huge. And so I just hope that right now, real life, I can be part of holding them accountable in the sense that they can at least have some grace and say, we don't have it all out, figured out, Mr. Mendez. We know and see everything that you've been through, and I really shouldn't be wasting my energy on this. I should be, I feel, spending time with people that mean the most to me and being there with them, and I miss them. And here, I just feel so isolated. And I was just like, okay, well, I was gonna journal, but my journal's too far away from me right now, so my laptop's here, so I'll vlog. I set my alarm for 4. I woke up, used the restroom. I have to put music on. But let's see. I drank some orange juice. I got some electrolytes in. I cleaned the restroom this morning. I showered. You know, last night my sister told me that the house was going to be inspected and I'm not supposed to be living here at all. And I had a good interaction with my new OT, Nayla, and Nayla and I were discussing like my accessibility devices, and I wanted to share with Nayla that I can't really live here. I'm not supposed to live here, but also I didn't want to be like overshare in the first interaction. And I'm like, we just met, and I'm over here pouring out all my problems to my OT. So, but I'm not hiding that I live here at all. And I think that there's a lot of prejudice involved and bias and racism involved with my life and how people view me and how people choose to not help me or assist me or guide me through problems, because it's just super sad how these people have law firms and resources, and I would say that homeless people have assisted me more than these corporate entities have. You know, homeless people have spent the time, all of the time, and sharing with me and being there for me and being supportive than these tied up, suited up, fresh, shampooed, and fresh cut people. And I'm not saying that I want to sit there and wallow in that and squalor and no, I thank God that He got me out of all of that. And I know that He's getting me out of all of that. And then I found out I'm allergic to 2 different types of dust mites and horses. And who knows what else I'm allergic to. I should probably call and ask if my results are back from my allergy test, my blood test. But even then, the doctor told me that all that will happen with my food and allergies, that I will just be informed or told to eat less of that, whatever it is. So not angry or upset with anyone. I'm not angry or upset with my sister or myself. I just feel like, being in the physical condition and state that I'm in, and if I can sit here and do all these things, granted I'm hung up and behind on homework, you know, like I feel like I'm leading and I'm being an example, a good example, trying to set a good example. And it's like just feel awful and horrible right now with how things are with the people in this house. Not with myself, but I wish my sister would stop taking things out on me and being mean to me. And I know it's not meant in that way, but I just feel like I don't need the criticisms. Like, and I'm not mental health shaming anyone, but I just feel like, you know, I'm already behind on schoolwork. I can't sit here and I can't clean up after two adults. And I already knew, I hate to say that, I knew that this was going to cause an issue. I knew that when I started school that the house was going to go back down and it was going to be a huge issue. And I just can't do it. Like, I can't. Like, I clean my room and my shower and my the toilet because I have to, and granted it's the guest toilet, and when my family comes over, it's great. They come over. I miss them. I like to see them. You know, I don't like how my sisters have been coming over when times get rough because I feel like super isolated and enough being an only child, let alone I feel like when they all come together, they like I don't know. They're like on my sister's side, which is fine. The girls, whatever. I'm a grown man. I'll be a man about it, but it's just not easy. Like I just don't feel like my siblings like really have. Maybe it has to do with my memory. I don't know, but I don't feel like I don't feel any form of connection towards any of my siblings, and a lot of that is my mom's fault. Even when my mom did come around later on in my life, all she ever did was buy us things and try to make up for those traumatic events. And that never went over well with my grandparents, especially my grandpa. He said you can't just buy up someone's love. You can't just buy things and expect things to be smoothed over. And that's everything going on here at the house. And I need to clean my room. My sister said they're gonna come inspect the house, but my mind doesn't work like everybody else's mind. My mind is like, I don't know who owns this house. I mean, I've looked into it. It's a corporation. And the neighbor, Charlotte, across the street said a man used to live in this house. But I know that since I've been here, I've done so much and put in so much work into this house. Granted, it's all gone down the drain. But I'm just in the point where just leave me alone. If my message in my vlog today to anyone that's listening or tuned in right now, just leave me alone. I don't want to be bothered. Leave me alone and respect me. Like, just because you never had your life figured out and your mommy and daddy didn't figure their crap out, guess what? J. Cole says no role models, but I'm here right now. I didn't have any role models. I still don't. And maybe that's what makes me feel sad. But I'm here. And I'm more than my family. I know that sounds awful, but I really am. And I know that there are people in the world that really do miss me. Like they genuinely miss me, and I miss them. And I'm not saying my sister doesn't try with me, she does. But like Brother Brown said, I can't imagine you're that hard to take care of. I'm really not. But my mind works in the sense of like, if these people are gonna come do some inspection, then my thing is like, first of all, I'm a very scientifically minded man. I know wood rot. I know the corrosion of rust. So if you think that from rust corrosion, I don't know if I can calculate the corrosion, the time of corrosion of rust. I don't know what makes people think that I don't have the capacity to understand any other form of substance or material. I mean, there are catalysts involved in these oxidization of materials, and nature is going to do what nature wants. I can tell from that fence how long it's been that it's been neglected. I can tell from the grass because I did a lot of grass keeping, groundskeeping at Daniel's house. I can tell from the environment that this place has been gone, shot to you know what, to crud, and it's just so sad. Like I feel like it's sad that the cards come down on people that look like me, talk like me, or look like my sister, like my brother-in-law. But I guarantee anybody else down the street that's renting a house, I know that they don't come down and do that to them because I seen their grass. Their weed is overgrown to the streets. And as bad as my sister's lawn has gotten, it's never gotten that bad. And I'm super mindful of the neighbors and how I clean up and stuff like that. But when I was at Daniel's house, and a part of me's already been like, I should report Daniel. I have his number in my phone. I should report Amber. I have her number in my phone. The realtor, they're all phony to me. You know, was I helped? Yes. Did people help me? Sure. But the thing is, everybody helped me with their own prejudice and bias towards me. And guess what? Through the whole process, no matter what Daniel said to me, I never judged him. No matter what Amber said to me or how she was with me, I never judged her. I never touched them. Never really touched me. Other than maybe I handed Amber a spare key or something. And that phony guy that showed up looked like the janitor and left the key in the door. Fuck yeah, I took that key. He's an idiot, loser, shouldn't have left the key in the door. And he touched me. I told him, don't fucking touch me. I said, don't touch me. I didn't say the F word. I should have, now that I think back. Matter of fact, I should have slapped him in the face for touching me. Don't touch me. I don't like being touched. But I have good discernment. You know, I do not like being touched at all. Don't touch me. I don't like being touched. I don't like, you know, like my dental hygienist. My dental hygienist, they've been very nice, and you know, when you're in a medical setting, when someone's being weird, like Doctor Ramen, weirdo, a hole, whatever his name is, I don't play that stuff. Once upon a time, I was just like super, just nice and gentle, and I let everybody run me over, literally run me over. And when a brother was balling, had all the money in the world, people took from me nonstop. My own grandmother took from me. I bought my grandmother this huge Betty Boop um, collectible antique, and she treats me like trash. So if I would have bought Miss Kelly, I don't know, like this big beautiful Birkin bag, I know that she would probably take really good care of it, appreciate it, pray, thank God, and here my grandma is. And it's like I have a support system where I see that those relationships, I wouldn't say they're rotted, that they're, how do you say, mm, they've disintegrated into nothing, but they're not the greatest right now. And I think to myself that if I just work on myself, that's the best thing that I can do to show them that I love them beyond any gift. You know, I'm the greatest gift. And even though my mom bringing me into this world didn't see me as a gift, my grandparents always saw me as a burden that they didn't have to take on, another child that they had to raise that wasn't in their plans, their youngest child. And even though, I've been gaslit in so many different ways, and this situation with the corporation that I work for, it's like I told somebody when I've gone through this, and not many people have, and a lot of people do, they just don't wake up to being used or utilized in that sense. I had the hardest hardship of my life with the comprehension and acceptance that I had to forgive myself for crap that I didn't even orchestrate. It's just unreal. Like, coming to that full awareness that you were part of something so awful that impacted the lives of hundreds of thousands of women alone. Who knows how many men, how many children, who knows how many people this reality, this this is real, this operation impacted. I don't know. I know that I was used. I know that corporations like to scout for and recruit people of a certain look and of a certain form of, if you want to say education, I guess, or knowledge, more or less knowledgeable in these things, so that they can recruit more labor and employment. But I also know that when there's no oversight over how that's done, and it's done at such a level of just this speed and this amount of money is involved, it's almost like I didn't think that anything could exist past the level of greed, but it does exist. Peace out.